Hello everyone, and welcome to a new video giving our top 5 theories and ideas on the new teaser trailer for Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. The topic that we've been asked to cover the most comes from seeing the broken 𝗏𝗡 Master Sword. How did it break? What does it mean? What effects will all of it have on the story or gameplay? Well, we have some interesting theories on this. Some of these are our own original thoughts, and others were sent to us from all of you in the community. So be sure to leave your own thoughts or your favorite theories in the comments below. If we end up discussing it on a new video, or live on our Zelda podcast, the Hylian Gamescast, we will be sure to give you a shout out and credit you for bringing it to our attention. Theory 1. 𝗙 returns. This is a popular one that almost every Zelda fan has mentioned. 𝗙 will have her return in Breath of the Wild 2, but how? And why? Well, in the first Breath of the Wild, we have a scene where Zelda believes the sword speaks to her, and we even hear a small bit of the theme from 𝗙's music. Even though this was just a small part of the overall story, Nintendo did include it for a specific reason, and re-released Skyward Sword in HD in the time between Breath of the Wild 1 and 2. Many believe this is because Breath of the Wild 2 may have strong ties to Skyward Sword, as 𝗙 was already hinted at, and Zelda mentions the sword speaking with her. It seems like a logical conclusion. The real question being, what will 𝗙's role in the game be, and has she been damaged with the Master Sword, or set free from it since it's broken? Many disliked 𝗙 as a companion character, her being a more robotic version of Navi, giving us obvious information and reminding us our batteries are almost dead. But she could play a different role in Breath of the Wild 2, in a way more similar to the companion characters of Breath of the Wild, such as Yunobo and Sidon, helping the player in a very specific way, or she could help us communicate with Hylia or Zelda. As in Skyward Sword, 𝗙 gives multiple messages from the goddess Hylia directly to Link, even stating Hylia is at the edge of time. So would you like to see 𝗙 fully return, and if so, in what way would you like to see her? Theory 2. Exactly how did the Master Sword break? This is actually something that was brought over from the first Breath of the Wild, but with a different look. In the book, Creating a Champion, Nintendo gives us a detailed up-close look at what the Master Sword looks like in its early broken form, which it has several. Many first believed the discolored areas were caused by rust or dirt, though beside the image, Nintendo confirms the dark colors are actually malice. It also states, it was damaged during the Guardian Assault during the Great Calamity as Link fled with Princess Zelda. After Link fell in battle, Zelda delivered the sword to its pedestal in Korok Forest, so that it might recover. We see this version of the sword during the cutscene, but data in the game shows the damaged sword was meant to be playable. Pulling the sword from the sheath also gives a different sound effect from the undamaged Master Sword. Finally, we see a few versions of the damaged Master Sword: slightly damaged, medium damage, and medium damage plus covered in malice. Nintendo is bringing this cut concept back to the sequel, but in a different way. I believe the malice that attacks Link's arm in this scene from the trailer also damages the sword, leaving it in this almost melted state. Let us know if you agree, or if you think it was damaged in a different way. Theory 3. How will we fix it? The theory on fixing the Master Sword that we feel has the most weight is that Nintendo may have already shown us. Similar to powering up the Master Sword in Wind Waker and Skyward Sword, Link will likely be bringing the melted sword to the special locations that we see in the clip released in March during the reveal of its Spring 2023 release date. Whether it is power from the goddesses, as in Skyward Sword, Hylia herself, the Zonai, the dragons, or something entirely new, I think this is what Nintendo is showing us here. Which makes me wonder how far along the restoration process is the Master Sword when we see him in this scene. Is this the first spot he has tried repairing it? Or could he be even further along in his quest, since he is wearing the newest outfit? Theory 4 is on how the broken or maliced Master Sword will be used. As we stated earlier, the broken or malice sword was actually meant to be usable in the first Breath of the Wild, though it seems to have only had a single point of damage. With this new version of the Malice Sword, would we be able to use it during normal combat, just having a lower range, and dealing lower damage? Or would either the Malice or one of the new abilities Link has give the Malice sword a new power, much like Korok Poop allowing you to shoot further sword beams? Or Link learning the Great Spin, which circles him in a wave of blue or red energy, which is taught to him by one of the great fairies in Ocarina of Time, as well as that Link going on to teach it to his descendant during Twilight Princess. We do see the symbol on Link's hand glowing bright yellow, matching the ball of light in front of him, and the sword itself, despite being heavily damaged, has its own bright glow. So what do you think is going on in this scene? Theory 5 is on further upgrading the Master Sword. Games like Wind Waker and Skyward Sword have Link powering up the sword to its complete true form. Games like A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds gives Link the Master Sword already in this complete form, but allows him to strengthen it and power it up an additional 2 times, which is how we get the Golden Sword. Breath of the Wild already gave us the option to power up the Master Sword and raise its attack, but it mostly looks the same. So do you think the sequel will continue on this and allow us to power up the Master Sword after it is restored to its original form, and once again, possibly into the Golden Sword? Would you like to see the Gold Sword in a 3D Zelda game? Alright, for everyone who watched this, thank you so much. It has been a very difficult past few months. It is only because all of you who have donated on PayPal with super chats during live streams and supporting us on Patreon that this video was even possible. I know a lot of YouTube channels say that, but honestly, you all have no idea how much you have all helped me. I'm currently working on a full thank you video that goes over almost everything that's been going on, and thanking each person who has donated or helped. Some of the stuff most of you already know, especially if you follow us on Twitter or are in our Discord. The computer I was using to edit completely broke. Then I started having issues with our internet, which hasn't gotten any better. But worse than all that, I've had some family and other personal stuff going on. Thankfully, Daniel, Tubes, and Geek were able to keep the channel going while I was unable to, which is also why Daniel has been the lead host on our Zelda podcast, the Highland Gamescast. Everything should be going back to normal with at least 1 or 2 edited videos like this being uploaded every week, and the Highland Gamescast continuing to be live every Thursday. We say it begins at 9:30 Eastern, but you secretly know it's more like 9:45 Eastern. Again, thank you all. I hope you have a wonderful day, and please leave your thoughts on the new clip or a theory you have in the comments below, and let us know which news, topics, lists, theories, or anything else you would like to see us make a video on. And as I mentioned in the beginning, if we end up discussing a theory, idea, or topic that you give us, we will be sure to give you a shout out and credit you with a screenshot during the video.